Amen. Not always have to be right
all the time.
Amen.
Okay.
And that every problem is not always your problem, it's somebody else's problems. Amen. But sometimes it's your problem as well, and sometimes it is your fault. Amen. Amen. And don't always bring up what they did or what they've done in the past. Amen. Or bring back up their failures that they have talked to you. You know how sometimes your husband or your significant other may talk to you and share some things with you. And then when you get mad, you like throw it back in their face. Mm-hmm. You should not do that. That's not good. Amen. Right. And then you explain away or deny your own sins and your own weaknesses. Amen. Because none of us are perfect. Mm-hmm. We all have our, what we like to say, our little idiosyncrasies. Amen. That when they put up with yours, you have to learn to put up with theirs as well. Amen. Amen. Because the good always outweighs the bad. There's more good than there is bad. So you have to, it's a give and take in every situation. It's a give and take. Remember what Romans 12:3 says, do not think of yourselves more highly than you ought to, but rather think of yourselves with sober judgment in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of us. Never think that you're too high or too good to do a thing or that you cannot humble yourself to admit when you're wrong. You have to know how to be humble. When your spouse has an issue with something you've said or done, listen twice and think 3 times before you say anything. Once it's said, it cannot be retracted. You cannot say, I'm sorry. You can say you're sorry, but the damage and the hurt is done. Can it be corrected? Yes. With much prayer, love, forgiveness, and time, and remembering and holding true to your marriage vows. For better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, to death do us part. You have to replay that in your mind, because a lot of times, we get angry, we get mad, we just ready, like say, you know what? I'm packing my bags and I'm leaving. But when you leave, what you gonna do when you leave? So you're just gonna pack your bags and just come back. So we just might as well get it right from the onset. Amen. In our marriages, we should pray for one another. Be willing to be a part of the answer to that prayer. Value your spouse more intentionally. Intentionally tell him that I love you. Intentionally tell her that I love you. Intentionally call them out of the blue and just say, I just called to say I love you. Like Pastor Hart does me sometimes. Before I can even answer the phone, he starts singing, making his joyful noise. I just called to say I love you. Yeah. And I say, yay, thank you. And I just brighten up and I said, oh, thank you so much. Because sometimes I'm having a bad day, sometimes that really brightens up my day. And love your spouse more deeply. It's not about you, but it's about you and him as one. Avoid conflicts as much as you possibly can. Amen. Sometimes when you feel yourself getting overheated, just walk away, take a walk, count to 10, and just say, you know what? It's not even worth it. Just let it go. Pray for this day, because today is the most important moment in a marriage. Not tomorrow, because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but the moment right now that we have with one another. That's the most important time. We have to treasure that time. We must pray for that. And pray to be the presence of Christ. Pray to be the presence of Christ in your marriage, because we know that he is the head. It says this is understanding that God uses us to actually be the presence of Christ. Be Christ to your wife. Be Christ for your children. Be Christ in your home. Not just on Sunday, but every day you have to live this life, because you don't know, somebody's watching you. Amen. Somebody's looking at you, and somebody's looking up to you. And when you start doing crazy stuff, then that causes them to stumble, and that causes them sometimes to turn away. So we have to be mindful and walk this walk every day. Amen. Prayer. Amen. Pray that your marriage will be a positive influence for others. I want to influence someone in a good way, not in a bad way. I want someone to remember me for the life that I live for Christ. Amen. The life that I live loving my family, loving my husband, loving my church members, just loving in general. Because God, when we said that we're Christians, that means we're Christ-like. Amen. And then and Christ always loved in spite of. He had no respect of person when it came to love. He loved us in spite of. What if he withdrew his love from us? What would we be? What would we do? We could do nothing. Amen. We already live in a chaotic and hectic world with love. Yes. Now imagine it without love. Lord. It would be a very treacherous place to be. Mama. Pray for our children. Yes. When our children know that parents are actually praying for them, they can count on these, and they can count on these prayers every day, this knowledge is powerful to them. When they know that my mom, my dad is praying for me, that is something that they can count on. That's something that they can put in, stick a straw in it, amen. And they can say, you know what, I got this because my mom and my dad is praying for me, and I'm praying for myself. And I remember what they told me, I can do all things to what Christ that strengthens me.
Yes.
So, give them that prayer life and let them know that you're praying for them. Encourage them, even if they're not doing their best. Always speak good to them. Always let them know that I'm proud of you, what you're doing. I'm proud of your accomplishments. I'm proud of your achievements. You have a spirit of excellence. Always tell them that they have a spirit of excellence. Always build them up, as well as your spouse, as well as your significant other one. Pray that you will be a better husband, a better wife. Ask God to help you to be a better husband and wife with humility and love in one breath. Help me not to be so arrogant. Help me not to be so unforgiving. Help me to be more thoughtful, more caring, more considerate. Even though he left the cabinet open, I can go in and I can close the cabinet. Even though I told him 100 times to please close the cabinet. But even if he does not, it doesn't hurt me to go in and close the cabinet. It doesn't hurt me to go in and push the drawer and amen. We have to, learn how to just not always bring up those things that aggravate us, because there are some things about us that aggravates them too, and they may not even say it, but there are. So we have to, it's a give and take, as I said before. Pray for wisdom, prayer for wisdom, and belief that God honors your prayer, amen. Because we cannot do anything. We're not sufficient of ourselves. We need his guidance, and we need his protection, and we need his wisdom in all things. Pray for a vision for your family. Pray for guiding your family in godly wisdom and godly knowledge. Not let me lead them the way I want to go, but let me lead my family the way that God would have me to lead my family, and help me to be about treating my husband and the wife that God would have me to treat them. Pray for protection. Our commitment to faithfulness, our family values, and our faith are all under constant assault. We cannot fight this alone. We simply must pray. And husband and wives and significant others, it's always good to pray together. Amen. You don't have to pray together every day, but there should be a time and at least a day that you do come together and you pray. You pray about things in your home, your children, your finances, whatever it may be. Talk about it and pray about it, because when you pray about it, you put it on the opposites of God, and you know that when you pray about it, that God is working that thing out for you. You don't always see it, but know that he says that all things are working for your good. And you have to believe that when you pray that it is working for my good. I may not see it right now, but I know that it is, because that is what God has told me. Amen. And then pray for peace. Let peace begin with you or with me in prayer and in our home. Ask the Lord to make us an instrument of peace, because we need peace. We cannot live without peace. We must have peace in our homes and to live, because it says it's better to live in peace than to live in a house with contentious woman says brothers up on the rooftop. But we want to strive for peace, because the word tells us, as much as it lies within us, strive to live for peace with all mankind. Amen. And that's all I have to say on tonight. Amen. The rest I'll leave it to this young man on that.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Wonderful.
She said before she left home, she wasn't going to eat. She said, but I knew better.
Yes, sir.
I just knew better.
Amen.
They said, I better not say that. I was like throwing no eggs up here before I finish. I just want to thank God tonight for this opportunity to be here. I thank God so much for Sister Roundtree and Pastor Roundtree inviting us to be here tonight, just to talk to you casually about Happy Valentine's Day. And let me get this out of the way to all you singles. She told me, Cynthia Roundtree, told me to tell you.
Yes, I like her stuff.
Better luck next year.
Oh. Better
all
luck.
you singles, she says, better luck next year. I don't know what she meant by that.
You'll be going to some weddings next year.
Yes. Hallelujah.
We thank God. Let me just get this one out of the way. That marriage is very important.
Yes, sir.
marriage was instituted before there was a church. Marriage is God's first institution.
Yes, it was.
And in the initial union of a man and a woman, that is Adam and Eve, that they were so perfectly joined together that they lost their separate identity and they became one flesh.
How about that, huh?
Can you imagine
Amen.
being one with somebody? God himself was directly involved in every aspect of that marriage.
Yes.
Notice what God did. It was God that made the decision that Adam shouldn't be alone.
How about that?
It was God who said that it is not good that that man should not be alone. It was God who formed Eve from Adam and for Adam.
Amen.
It was he who presented her to Adam.
Yes.
It was him who established the term of the covenant relationship which he united with them. The covenant he had with them or gave them had two dimensions. First of all, they had a horizontal relationship. That was between them and each other. Between the man and the woman, between Adam and Eve. Then they had a vertical relationship that both of them had with God. Now it is not possible for every man and every woman to find the ideal mate. And it is certain better to be alone with God than to be unequally yoked together with an unbeliever.
Amen.
Unbelievable.
So if you're looking for Mr. Right or Miss Right, there is no such animal that exists.
Come on, sir.
Now, if you get Mr. Almost,
Come on now.
Miss Almost,
Yeah.
you gotta take them.
Oh, boy.
Because you ain't gonna never find Mr. Right or Miss Right. So you
like
better
that.
take what you can get. If there's a secret to a successful marriage, why do some couples seem to succeed